Hi, this is Group 2, CIT, Jonathan Bordley and Edgar Romero. We're going to talk about Ossec capabilities and features. Ossec is a open source host-based IDS um, intrusion detection system. Main things that Ossec does is log analysis, file integrity checking, registry integrity checking, and host-based anomaly detection. It gives active responses. It will respond through email and several other ways to let you know what is going on with your system. Why use Ossec? It solves a real problem with log analysis. It examines your logs and goes through, and it can be set up to look for all sorts of anomalies, whereas you don't have to, and this is all done automatically. It's free. It's easy to install, sort of. It's easy to customize. It's scalable, multi-platform, and it is secure by default. And it comes with all the decoders out of the box, as you can see. Understanding Ossec, it works in two models. Local, and you have only one system, which I've set up and we'll show you in a second, and agent or server. Local would be if you just have one machine. Agent and servers if you've got multiple clients sitting out remote or in the same building, and you would have it hooked to a server. And you can monitor the file state of those clients. It's installed at Ossec. It works on a Linux machine. Main configuration file is set up at Ossec etcossec.conf. Your decoders are stored at Ossec etc decoders, binaries at Ossec bin, and all your rules at Ossec rules.xml if you are doing database. And your alerts are stored at Ossec logs, alerts log. Ossec reports on a host of things: common web attacks, cross-site scripting, SQL injection, Windows authentication failure attempts, MySQL authentication failures, PostGRE SQL authentication failures, Sonic Wall authentication failures, remote access, SSH, multiple authentication attempt fails, and login authentication failures. All of these would be identified just in case you have a attack or someone is trying to unauthorized get into a system. Ossec architecture. Your architecture agent components are your logs collector, your system checker, root check, agent, remote analysis, and monitor. And all of these things essentially report back to the agent, which then reports back to your server and is analyzed and decoded and sent out as a message to the administrator. Your log collector works at the root, your agent works at your CH root, and the information is sent back and forth between the server via Z library, compressed using Blowfish encryption, and that information is shared back and forth between the agent and the server and analyzed by Ossec and then mailed out, or some other sort of execution is done depending upon your setup and based on the rule that you were set. So your firewall, switch, router, your IDS all report back to the server based off rules again, and all of this can be set up inside the server on Ossec to monitor these various devices. If you are using a database, application 1 and 2, you don't have to, but it would monitor that as well. And then all your clients would work back and forth. All reporting and logs would be created on rules that are broken. So the log analysis is done by pre-decoding, decoding, and then the analysis. The pre-decoding comes from your client or your agent in this case. It's decoded and sent it out to the server, and then the server analyzes the log for any rules broken or any alerts that it may see in it. So we're going to log into a Linux virtual machine that we set up and start Ossec because I have it shut down at the moment. You need root access to use the Ossec, so I'm going to get root access and then we're going to start it. I've copied some of these commands because I'm not the fastest typer, so that way we can get it going. So we just started Ossec up. I'm going to go into browser so we can look at the web user interface that this has. And we can see that the Ossec server started just a minute ago. I'm going to go into the .com file where everything is set up, and this is basically where you would live to change any information, filters, files, and anything else that you wanted to monitor in Ossec. If you start at the beginning, you can set your email notifications, and as you see, I've already got that set up, and to where it goes. You can set your rules to include Telnet, your syslog, ArtWatch, Symantec rules, PIX rules, SMDB, and a host of various other rules for just about everything. Apache, PHP, we're using Apache in this case right now to run the web interface, but you can show firewall rules, your Cisco iOS rules, anything can be set up. You can include or exclude any of these rules, and it will email you if anything is violated. You can set the system check, the frequency that it runs a system check. By default, it's set to 22 hours, which is 792,000 seconds. You can check all your directories, or you can set specific directories. In here is where you would add whatever other rules you wanted to change or vary. You have file directories that is set to ignore. As you can see, there are some random ones, but it won't look at these if there's something changed in these files. You've got Windows files that it's set to ignore, primarily System32 files, your debug files, and other things inside of Windows that you can, it's by default set up to ignore. Root check files, which it will look at, and if anything is changed, in this case, these are all for looking at rootkits in various places in Linux. You've got global files. You've got a whitelist essentially for certain IP addresses, and I set this up. The 127.0.0.1 is my local host, but I also set up a Windows server, which I haven't completely gotten running yet, but that's what the whitelist if you want to allow your agents to connect to the host. You'd set your alerts, your command structure for what you want to happen once an alert comes in, and how you want that to happen. And as you can see, there are many different things that you can do with this. You can set up your active response configuration for what you want it to do. The IP, in this case, the Depending upon if your level severity is greater than or equal to 6, the IP is going to be blocked for 600 seconds, whatever is coming in for that. And that can also be changed. You can set up IP rules, IP filter rules, and then you've got local files that you can monitor as well on the actual server instead of just the agents. And again, this is a very, very flexible system, and it does a host of things that I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg on. I'm going to update my log, and I'll show you the web UI. Essentially, I've been playing with this for a few days, so these go back a bit. But if you open login sessions, if you root into the user interface, all of this is coming off of the server, and it's showing you the different files and alerts that it sent. If you want to look at a rule ID in here, and there are these numbers are different rules that can be set within the .conf file. If I just pick one, for instance, you can click on it, and then you have a rule ID number. If you search it, in this case it says it didn't match any documents. Let's see if it does. Okay, well, that's where you'd go for help. But that's your log. And also, these all get emailed to whatever email address you set up inside of the server. That's our presentation. Hope it was helpful. Thank you.